How are you today, Linda?
I'm pretty good.
You're good?
Yeah.
How was your Thanksgiving? Did you do anything fun?
Oh, it was really busy.
Yeah.
I try to always cook at my house because I want my kids to have good memories and stuff like not like mine. And so I cooked a big Thanksgiving and I invited my son to come over and it was my girls and I invited some of my friends from work and some of my girls that I just hang out with on the weekend and stuff. And so we kind of had a friendsgiving, family giving, and
Yeah.
it was really good. I feel like everything went really well. I think some people looked at Eric and like were feeling uncomfortable and stuff because of course he came like Erica, but I tried before he got there to tell everybody be prepared. I don't know how he's going to show up, and so I mean maybe that kind of helped because they didn't say anything to him. They were just looking at him, but I mean I feel bad. I just wish he didn't have that like. Everybody trying to figure out is it a he, is it a she, is it a he, she? Like, I hate that. I don't like it.
Yeah. How did Erica feel during all of that? Did you talk after?
Well, I feel like whenever he first came in, he was feeling like he was being judged because I could tell he was super guarded and stuff. But I mean, then whenever I just told him to have a seat and hang out and just relax, I think he felt better. He liked playing with his sisters and being around everybody. And some of my friends after a couple of glasses of wine, they loosen up too and just go over and sit and talk about whatever. And so they're just talking about like what kind of stuff Eric's into and what kind of work they're doing and stuff. And I think it went okay, but I also just the whole time I did feel a little stressed out and worried about if they were making fun of him on the side and I wasn't noticing or something like that because I don't know. I don't like people to talk bad about my kids.
Right. Yeah. So. Did you talk with your friends after about?
I mean, I tried to make like some conversation with them, like, hey, so what'd you guys think of his new look and stuff? And my one friend told me that she's like has a hard time with it and that Eric was so handsome and to see him all like a girl and stuff is just so weird. And I told her, not to say that because she was going to make him feel bad about himself. And of course she said she would never say it to his face, but of course that it is just weird to her and that she's not used to that stuff. And and that's fine as long as she's not mean to my kid, I mean, and spreading rumors or anything. But I think I have pretty good friends. Hopefully they wouldn't do that to me.
Right, yeah. So where are you at? Like, how do you feel with the transition with your daughter?
I mean, since the last time we talked, you told me a lot of stuff about, like, stuff to think about that Eric, like, could try to kill himself and stuff like that. And I definitely, that, like, weighed heavy on me. I left here and, like, laid in bed thinking about it at night that I don't want to do stuff to make Eric, like, do something crazy like that. So at Thanksgiving, after everybody left, Eric wanted to leave, but I asked him if he could just stick around. And I told him that I've been seeing you. And, like, last week you said I should talk to him about maybe coming in. And so he said that he would think about it, but he thinks I need to work on me first and that he doesn't feel like I've made enough progress yet with myself because, like, I guess, you see, I keep calling him he, and he said that I need to just learn more about who he is and what's happening with him before he feels like he's coming in and we're ganging up on him or something.
Yeah, so she has started to go by Erica and wants to go by she, is that right?
Yeah.
Have you made any efforts to start transitioning into using those pronouns in that name, or is that hard?
It's just like, okay, so this is my kid that I gave birth to and raised and have always called Eric and have always referred to as a boy and have always bought like boy clothes for and done sports with and all of that. And so my automatic reaction is to be like, hey, Eric, come here. Or to say like, he really likes to do this or that. And so it's really hard for me to just all of a sudden change my thinking to make him feel better about himself. But I know he said, like, Mom, you really need to make more of an effort if you want me to come around more. And so I told him I would try and that we're working on it in here and that I'm open to it because I do love him and want us, to have that relationship. But I don't know. I maybe need to read some books or something because I have a hard time, was he born like this? Is this how people are born? Or do they, like, did something I do make him want to be a girl? Or, you know, I don't even know if there's an answer to that, but I question it. And then, like, I mean, even trying to understand, like, are you gay now? And are you not gay? Like, I don't know. Because if you're wanting to be a girl, are you wanting dudes? Like, I don't know. So, I mean, maybe I need to read something.
Yeah, so I have some books and like different pamphlets and things like that that I think would really be helpful in like the education side of all of the transitions that your daughter is going through, and maybe even that's something that like you could go through with her to be like, you know, I've read this, like, is this, you know, how you're feeling or what you've been thinking, or, you know, because it's different for each person as well.
Yeah.
Each transition is going to be different because each person is unique. And so I think it would be really important to read through these for the education, but it can also be something used to, like, create conversation with your daughter and spark, you know, a connection in that sense, and just to help understand and give her an opportunity to talk about her side of it and like what she's feeling and going through as well. Would that be something that you're interested in?
Yeah, I mean, because the whole time you were talking, like, the thing that stuck out the most is when you said your daughter, and I thought of my two twin daughters, but not of Eric, and it's like my mind is having such a hard time grasping that Eric is not my son, but is my daughter, and then she and not he, and it's just really hard for me to just, I don't know. I don't like to upset him. And when he comes over, and like Thanksgiving, he came over, and I mean, he wasn't dressed in like a dress and wearing like a ton of makeup like a drag or anything. But I mean, he was just wearing like a shirt that I could tell he probably got at like Charlotte Russe or something, but it wasn't all like showy. And then he was just wearing jeans and like some tennis shoes, like some Converse or whatever. So I mean, he didn't like look like he was trying to be all in my face about it. But I know that he wanted me to like acknowledge him as Erica, and I just, my mind kept going to what I know. It's automatic instinct for me, and I think that's why I want him to come in here with me, so that he can understand that I want to try, but he can't be getting all pissed off every time I don't say Erica and I say Eric, because it's hard for me. He can't just expect overnight I'm going to wake up and be okay with this, and that it's just going to be something I'm used to doing. And so I told him that, and he said that he gets it, and he's going to try to understand my side, but that he said I just have more work to do on me, that he's, until I'm better, he doesn't want to see me and you together like that yet.
Okay. So it's a transition for you too. I mean, you're having to get used to these changes as well, and I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough talking about that with each other and had that conversation. I feel like that's really helpful. And
yeah, it was the first time we weren't like screaming and yelling, and he's like running out, and I'm not going to ever talk to you again. I mean, we left, like, I was a little bit upset and disappointed, because I mean, I wanted him to say he would come in right away and like next appointment or whatever, and so that was disappointing. But it was progress that he actually showed up to Thanksgiving, and we were able to like his day after and talk, and even though like I got teary-eyed and stuff, I mean, he didn't get all mad at me or anything like, Mom, you're being so dramatic. He was just like, I know this is hard for you, but it's even harder for me. Like he feels like it's harder for him, because he's the one who has to deal with people outside of the house, not just me, but everybody else. But he doesn't understand that all I do is sit up at night worrying about what those people are saying and doing to him. So
you're worried as well. So, two things. One, would you feel comfortable, since this is a safe place, to start to use the pronouns in the name that Erica wants to go by? Because it is a safe place to mess up a little bit. And
that's true.
It is a place to be, you know, we're doing work here, and that's going to take work. That's a transition as well. So this can be a place that we kind of work on that, and you can kind of stumble over your words. That's fine. Would you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, having you correct me more than like Eric doing it, I'd probably be less defensive, because whenever I say Eric and Eric's like Erica, it pisses me off, and I'm like, child, you better calm down before I slap you.
Well, and there's
But with
emotion
you,
in that.
I feel like
Yeah.
I would just be like, you're right, you're trying to help me. So.
Okay, yeah. So more using she, the word daughter, Erica,
Okay.
things like that, I think. And that'll hopefully transition into that, and Erica will be able to see that progress as well, and maybe be willing to come and join and stuff too. Because I feel like
Maybe that's what she means when she says I need to work on me.
yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that is a huge step in accepting what she is going through and validating her,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
I mean,
think
I would
that
like
be
it if we
great.
could get to the point where she would move back home.
Yeah.
And we can all be under the same roof again, and I don't have to lay awake worrying about what's happening to my kid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I'm willing to do whatever work
Mm-hmm.
because my kids are my life,
Yeah.
and without Erica
Mm-hmm.
in my house,
Good.
I feel like we're empty.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel good. So I'm going to
Right.
try whatever I can do to
Mhm.
make things right between us.
Good. I think that'll be a really good step, and I think that'll make Erica feel more comfortable hearing that and being around that. I think it'll mean a lot for her. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was there's like a group, a trauma group that you could like kind of work with. There's multiple groups. There's a variety of different kinds of groups, and so there's groups that you could go to with parents experiencing the same thing that you are with your son or daughter transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something beneficial that you might want to check out. I've got pamphlets at the end. I'll give you all these different pamphlets. I know it's a lot of information, but you can always talk to me about it more or call me if you need to. But that's another thing that you could do outside of this if you wanted to, just to talk to parents who are kind of experiencing the same thing and going through the same stuff that you are.
One of my friends at work told me about like a podcast, but I don't even really know what that means. But she was saying like there's something I can listen to, and it's this like parent support network, and these people will like tell their story, and their kid will be on there telling their story, and they've told me that like that might help me understand better what's going on with her, but I haven't tried because I just don't understand what that kind of stuff is. But coming to this or going to a group or something, I mean, I can show up to a church on time, or I can show up whatever. And I mean, Erica has been talking about like new friends, and maybe she's even doing something that I didn't know. Like maybe she has some kind of group that I didn't know existed. So I might ask her if maybe there's something I can go to with her, or because I mean I know with all these social medias and stuff that there's probably like groups on there that like she's talking to, but maybe this is something that would be like more healthy to do than that.
Yeah, I think that would be great, and I'll try and find a variety of different groups. Maybe there's one out there for parents and child that you could go to together, and that'd be something a bonding moment for the two of y'all.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we used to be so close.
Yeah.
And we talked about everything, and sometimes I just think that I'm the one who screwed her up. Like, it's me. It's my problem because, like, always having people in and out of the house and stuff like that, and then really trying to protect her, from people going in to her room. But then, like, I like hanging out with guys. I like partying. I like doing all of that. And so I don't know if I set some bad example. So I have a lot of times I just feel like it's my fault. Like I didn't do the right stuff. And so now I'm just trying to really make up for it with the twins. Like, I know people like now talk about what they call them, like helicopters or something, the moms, but I'm trying not to be that mom because I don't think that you should be all over your kids, but at the same time I just want to make sure that they're safe all the time, and I worry about them too. And like, it's hard being a single mom. It's hard being a single mom, and it's hard trying to make it on your own and to make these kids act right and do the right thing. And I mean, I'm not educated. I want them to finish school and go to college, and I want Erica to make something of herself, and but it's like we're stuck. Like, just in a world of her trying to figure out who she is and me to make sure I know who she is. I don't know.
Yeah, so you brought up the twins. I wanted to talk about this with you. Have you talked to them much at all about like safe touch and what that means?
What do you mean safe touch? What does that
So,
mean?
you know, you're talking about that you like to have guys over and stuff like that, and with your past and the abuse and stuff that has happened, you know, you are very protective with them, but it's also important to educate them on what appropriate, like, physical touch is with men and adults and stuff like that, so that they know when, you know, this isn't right, like, this should not be happening. Have you had any kind of lessons like that with them?
No, because I just thought they were too little. Like, why would I feel like that's gonna ruin their brain if I'm trying to talk to them about stuff that's like inappropriate. They're not even allowed to watch rated R movies because I don't want them to see people rubbing on each other and girls taking their shirts off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how I would like even talk to them about something like that without feeling like I was being a pervert.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be anything like too explicit or videos or anything like that because they are young, but you could, like I mentioned, safe touch. You could talk about specific areas in the body that other people should not be touching. You could even use like one of their dolls or something to like demonstrate, you know, the different parts of the body and where it is like holding hands. You know, that's an act of love and that's safe. But you know, if it what kind of, you don't have to use the word groping either because I wouldn't understand that, but just safe touch if that makes sense. As well as, do you ever like cuddle with your kids, you know, you're affectionate with them, and with you, like that's comfortable, that's safe, but the difference between what that would be with one of like the guys that you brought home, if that happened, and if something like that happened and it's okay to feel uncomfortable and that's not right, and you should come get me and tell me and talk to me about it because you are so protective and love your kids so much that you'd want to know if something like that happens, you could do something about it. But if they don't know,
murder them.
Right, yeah. But if you don't know about it and the kids don't know that that's wrong, they don't know to tell you. And so having a conversation about this and showing them what's appropriate and what's not can help protect them.
I feel like I hear the hippie moms that come into my store and they've got their little kid in their cart and the little kid is like got their hand down their diaper and they're telling him, don't touch your penis, Johnny, or telling their daughter to not touch her vagina. But I feel like they're not old enough to be using that kind of language and that I need them to understand that that's a bobo and that's a popo and that's like our words because you're little and you don't need to know like what the real words are. And but then I hear like people on TV saying kids need to know the right names because they can't ask for help if people don't know what a bobo is. But I just feel like it's weird to talk to kids about that kind of stuff.
It seems taboo to us because, you know, that's the culture and we don't talk about it and it's not appropriate to talk about it. And so it's kind of the environment that you set up for your kids. And so if you are feeling uncomfortable and stuff like that, you know, they might not feel comfortable using those words. And if a situation happened like that and they don't know the appropriate words, you know, who knows, I might have a doll named Bobo and, you know, I'm thinking that, oh, they just touched my doll, and so that can get very confusing and not be clear. And so it may feel uncomfortable and taboo, but the children won't feel that way because they don't know that those are naughty words or don't have that meaning attached to it, if that makes sense.
You know, one of the twins, when she was little, we've always called the girl's part a popo, and she was playing with a friend at the playground, and her friend said, my popo's coming to visit, and she didn't know what the hell that meant, and came home and told me that Katie's popo was coming to visit. And I was like, that's nasty. Why is she telling me that? And I talked to the teacher, and apparently that was the name for a grandpa in the family.
Right.
And so, I mean, I get that can be
Yeah.
confusing, and I thought it was weird
Right,
who calls their grandpa
yeah.
Popo. But then they thought it was weird who calls their
Right.
vagina a Popo, but that was
Right.
just something that I grew up with.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So there is confusion. I mean, that's a perfect example of how that can get confusing. And, you know, you probably were worried for that child, and there was no need to be because it was your grandpa. And
Yeah.
so I think that that's very important that you use the clear language, that they know what that means and what is appropriate and what is not, so that they can tell someone in
Yeah.
case of a situation.
Okay. I'll try. I mean, that's going to be really hard because it makes me
Right.
really uncomfortable, and I feel,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it almost makes me feel gross to even talk about it. Like, I don't like to talk about that, but I
Right.
can try.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I want them to be able to come talk to me and tell me. I mean, I would know what they're talking about, but I guess
Mhm.
if they tried to tell someone else, they might not know. So
Right.
I'll work on it. I'll see. I really have to think about it because that
Mhm.
one is
Yeah.
hard for me.
Yeah, of course. And I've given you a lot to talk about and think about already, so that might take some time. But yeah. So I mentioned groups. You know, there's possibly a group that you could go to too as well with some of the trauma that you talked about. That might help you feel more comfortable talking about things like this. Like you said, you know, it's hard to even talk about body parts, you know, that involve sex with your children. And so, of course, we'll do some more work on that and get to talk about that in our next sessions if you feel comfortable and stuff like that. But sometimes people really enjoy groups as well, to know that other people out there have had similar experiences or struggle with the same things, and have gone through similar things. And there's specifically one called Seeking Safety, that I think you would do well with. If you were interested in that, I can write all this down for you and get you
Yeah.
information, but just a variety of things for you to check out and
Yeah.
see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a hard time with like my stuff, like
Mhm.
things that I've been through, because I just feel like I'm the adult. I need to just like suck it up and move on and stuff. So I'm probably gonna just start with trying to figure out me and Erica,
Right.
and like maybe go to those groups. But
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, maybe at some point I'd feel comfortable doing the other one for
Mhm.
me. But
Mhm.
that's like I gotta really probably work on that for a while
Right,
before.
yeah. And we can talk about that here as well. This is a place that I want you to work on, you know, what you're feeling like you need to. So this week, you know, there's a lot about Erica because you had an encounter with her, you know, and so there was a lot to talk about. But
Yeah.
next week, you know, take it week by week, just kind of need space what we need to talk about. I also just wanted to check in about work, how that stuff is going.
It's going good. I mean, I have a pretty good group of people that I'm working with, and I feel like I'm trying really hard to understand that everybody isn't like me, and
Right.
that we all share the space together, trying to work together and stuff. And but I mean, I think I work with some good people, and now it's pretty much all women, so I feel fine about that. Like. Our boss, our big boss is a guy, and when he comes to like check the store and stuff, he makes me nervous just because like he's kind of older and he just seems like he's like, I don't know, checking us out and stuff. But we all have talked about it and said like if he ever made us feel weird or whatever, we were gonna speak up. But I mean, I don't know, he doesn't do anything wrong. He gives me a bad vibe, but I mean, a lot of people do. So it's probably just me being weird.
Well, you've got to, you know, some of those instinctual feelings are there for a reason. You know, it just means that you're good at reading people, and so it's kind of a protective thing. You know, there's some people that you don't want to be around sometimes, and so you just keep your distance. And so staying safe is important, and trusting those instincts a lot of the time, I think, is good.
Yeah.
And talking about it with colleagues and friends that you've got as well is a great way to handle that. It's good that you can talk about those things and feel comfortable with it.
For a long time, I didn't really let people, like, I didn't have a lot of good friends because I just didn't want to get close to anybody. But I feel like since I got out of prison and I got my job and I got myself settled, I try to have like a couple of girlfriends that I can hang out with and go out with and drink with and stuff, so that way I have some me time and I can actually just feel okay, and it helps. I like it. I mean, it gives me a way to just like have fun and not worry about stuff and everything. But
you know, to use official words, coping strategies. Friends are a great way to help cope with just daily stresses and life stresses, and having that time, especially as a mom, you know, you just need some time for yourself to have some fun and relax. And so I think that's awesome that you have that and are developing those relationships, because those relationships can be everything sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we all get along really well, and I like them. I mean, sometimes when we go out, I feel like I'm kind of like in competition with them when we're trying to pick up guys and stuff, and so sometimes we can get catty with each other. But I also, like if it's just a Friday night and we want to get a bottle of wine and sit at my house and talk, then we have a good time, and I like that, and I don't feel like, you know, anything. But it's hard to be friends with women. Women are hard because they're just like so competitive about everything. Like, you have to worry about how skinny you are. You have to worry about how old you are. You have to worry about if you're doing the right thing with your kids, if you're, you know, paying your bills and keeping a nice home. And but, I mean, they don't really make me feel that bad about myself because we're all kind of the same.
Yeah. And I think the closer that you get and the more that you talk about things and feel comfortable sharing some of the things that go wrong in your life, you know, you realize we each have our own things and strengths and weaknesses, and you're there to help each other and hopefully not judge each other or put each other down. So I hope that. So are you still with your boyfriend? Are things going well with that?
Well, it's hard. I don't really keep men around that long. I really, like, I kind of get bored with them, or it's really, my relationships are not your normal relationships, because most women, they want to get wifed up and get married and just not be alone. But I actually feel better whenever I'm like in short relationships, because I don't have to worry about being perfect the whole time. It's just, we have fun in that moment. We usually just like have sex, hang out like a couple of days, and then after that I just start to like stop answering their calls and stop having them come around. So last one lasted like a week, but it really, I don't want anything long term, because men are terrible. Like, they're good to you for the first couple of weeks, first couple of months, everything's happy, they're excited to see you, and then they get lazy, and then they get fat, and then they're just sitting on the couch, and all they want you to do is bring them beer, and I just don't have time for that. I've dealt with enough losers in my life that have used me up, that now it's my turn to just use them up all the time. And so that's what I do.
Yeah. So have you thought about, you know, later on, would you want someone, a relationship, like a long-term relationship eventually, if you trusted that person enough and felt comfortable with them? Is that something you're even interested in?
I mean, I definitely don't want anybody until after, like, my kids are grown and not in the house anymore. Then, I mean, maybe, because right now I'm so busy with them that I don't really worry about it, and having someone not in the house all the time makes it to where I can actually sleep at night better. But once they're gone and older and stuff, I mean, I probably wouldn't want to be alone all the time, so I'd either get a roommate, or maybe if I could find somebody, but I'd have to probably find somebody who's like some old impotent ass man who's rich, who could just take care of me and would just like worship me, and like, because then I wouldn't have to worry about myself as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I've never, every couple that I've ever seen, they're like divorced, or the husband's running around on the wife, or something's happening, and so I've just not had a good experience with marriages, so it's hard for me to even want one.
Right, yeah. And we can, you know, it's not something that you have to have, or if you don't desire that, but if that is something that you think you'd eventually want, I think it would be important to kind of talk about that more and what a healthy relationship would look like and communication and stuff like that. Because that goes over like any relationship that you're with, as well. Just healthy communication and trust. And so I think that.
I mean, if you know a place I can find a man like that, because right now, I mean, Tinder is not working for like long-term relationship, and I've seen these like corny ass commercials about like soulmates.com and bullshit like that. But I mean, probably once my kids move out, I mean, I am 46. By the time they move out, I'm gonna be like a grandma, and I'm probably gonna need somebody to like clean out my wrinkles with a Q-tip. So maybe you can help me figure out how to do that.
Yeah, and friendships are always, you said you have your close friends and stuff like that. So
maybe Erica can introduce me to like some of her friends, and maybe if she's got like some cool like gay friends, I can find like a gay guy to move in with me, and then I wouldn't have to worry about anything, and we can be best friends forever.
There you go. Well, I think we covered a lot today. I gave you a lot to think about and places to consider. And I don't expect you to go to all these groups and different things this week, but just to do some research. I'll give you those books to kind of start looking over.
Okay.
At least read a little bit of it so that you can have a conversation with Erica. Again, start practicing using the right pronouns and stuff. So we've got a lot, but you're doing really great.
Thank you. I mean, it's really hard, and I'm not gonna lie. It's probably not as hard as I think it is to like use the right stuff. It's just probably just me being mean and being an asshole, and I could probably do better. So I'm gonna try. I might even try to give Erica a call after this and use all the right stuff to like show that I tried today and that I want this to work. So
I think that would be really meaningful because it's a transition for you too as well, and so it is going to be hard. But we've got to, anything hard, you've got to practice and really try to use the right words and stuff. And so you've done good. I mean, ever since we've talked about it, you've used all the right words and pronouns. So you've made progress already.
Okay. Well, I'll keep trying.
Good. Well, then I'll see you next week at the same time if that works for you.
Yep, that sounds great.
Very good.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Linda.